Hello Libra. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. Love this deck. I believe a friend, I think this is the one she suggested, but we'll find out. I think I'm going to see her tomorrow. So, Supportive Oracle cards, the Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. I think these go very well together. More of the optimistic energy, yet truthful. Kind of like if something's not right, they're going to tell you, but they'll be like, hey, even though that's happening, here's your possibility to make that better. That type of energy. What do we got here? Oh, let's do some of these. I didn't almost forget, but... All right, Libra, what do you got going on? Start with the beginning, right? Let's start with the beginning. Very drawn to this situation coming up. Starting off, you got the Five of Pentacles. I feel literally left out, but it's kind of like something's about to start. I almost feel like it's like I'm waiting for a movie, but the lights aren't even on in the theater yet. Like I want to go see this movie, but the theater's not even open, so I can't even go see it yet. And I'm kind of like, I feel frustrated, like I'm ready to do something, but there's just nothing going on yet. I know that I want to go see that movie, but I can't go see it yet. So I'm waiting. I feel like I've been waiting. And as that's happening, I see your energy kind of like you're in a peaceful area, peaceful moment. Things seem very peaceful, which Libra likes peaceful, but it's kind of like one of those things where I don't know what's going on, though. So it seems peaceful, but just because it seems peaceful doesn't mean everything is good. I just feel very detached from what's going on. But I got the Four of Swords here, like your energy is coming together. They're giving the confidence card, kind of saying, when the moment comes, you'll be ready. But there's kind of like this like lack of things going on. There's not much going on here. It's not bad. It's a lot of healing. It's a lot of just letting your energy settle. Now, the Knight of Cups comes in. And somebody is kind of like saying, hey, Libra, I see you're just hanging out over there. You want to do this. It's also got a friendship. It's got a friendship coming in with wisdom energy, too. This is a genuine energy that does care about you, that does like you. Positive energy towards you. The wisdom here is kind of like they're pulling you into something, and they're like, they know that you can see something that they can't. They need your help figuring something out. It's almost like I have a puzzle that's confounding me. Libra's good with puzzles. It's a people puzzle, though. It's like something's going on. They're like, I don't know what's going on here, but I bet you the Libra could figure it out. I bet you the Libra at the very least could tell me where to look. So somebody who very much, they like you, they trust you, they're like, I need that Libra to understand what's going on here so I can find out what I need to do with it. And it's also coming in with the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords. A very strong intellectual mind. This is somebody who can keep up with the way you think. They just need that fresh perspective, and they're like, you can do it. They definitely believe in you. Now, when this starts happening, you got the Queen of Cups. You're ready. You're like, yeah, I've just been sitting here doing nothing anyway. If I can get involved with something and help, I would love to help. I'm all right. I'm good with it. You like this person just as much as they like you. You got that Queen energy. You're like, oh, all right, you need my help. You want to figure this out? All right, let's find out what we can find out. Let's get involved with it. Now, as you're going into it, you got a lot of Pentacle energy. The Knight of Pentacles comes in with the Queen of Pentacles. There's a lot going on, but there's a lot of Pentacle is stone, like earth, stone. So there's a lot to break through here. And the thing is, even though earth is stone, that's what I'm getting from this, Libra is air. So Libra can find its way through stones. If there's a crack in the wall, you'll find your way through it very easily. And you're not subject to people knowing. It's kind of like you could slip through that wall without people realizing you got through this wall. It's one of those things. Like air gets through. You could also say that, water can kind of find the cracks in a wall and get through it, but water is subject to gravity, and you're going to see it pool. When water gets through, you're going to know it got through. When the air gets through, you may not notice it. And I feel like you're kind of getting through this situation, and you're kind of like, all right, something's going on here. You're not looking to make big changes. At this point, it feels more like investigatory. I think I'm making up that word. It's more of an investigation. Investigatory. That's not a real word. Is that a real word? I don't know. Moving on. You're just doing some research. Now, when you're doing this, you're finding out the truth of like what's making the situation work. How's this adding in with that? How's that going there? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? Is this good? Is this not good? Seems to work so far, but do we like that? You're going into it. You seem to be like really figuring out the puzzle. Glamour is here in the environment. You're noticing this very quickly. Surface level, things look good, really good. It reminds me of a place I worked once. Everybody looks like they get along on the outside. When it comes to meetings, everybody seems to be very compatible. When it comes to like getting their job done, this one works with that one. This person seems to be very accommodating to the other. Everybody seems to be working very well. But below the surface with glamour is like people are not really, things are not as good as they seem. It just seems to be almost like, I don't want to deal with this problem and I don't want to deal with that problem. The way to not have to deal with those problems is just to be nice to people. And if I just keep doing my job and I'm a little nice here, a little extra nice there, we don't have to have problems. But you are noticing there are things under the surface here, things that people don't like or people don't think are correct. Kind of like, I feel like I do more than I should have to do. I feel like that person doesn't do what they should. I think this person is actually out to get me, but I'm just not going to highlight it. Like there's things like these things that people are just not talking about, but they are feeling. But they're like, instead of calling any of it out, I'm just gonna play nice so that we can all get along. You're noticing the prosperity. You're also noticing people getting along, and you're kind of like, well, if people are being nice to each other, that's not a bad thing. But you're also looking at this with prosperity in the sense of like, all right, is this a growing problem? It's kind of like if you think of a tree, if it's in the wrong spot, like if you have a tree growing out of the sidewalk, maybe it's cute today, maybe it's cute for a couple years, but sooner or later it's going to start breaking that sidewalk. Sooner or later it's going to be too big and it's going to have to be removed, and then the damage it left behind is going to have to be corrected. So it's something that might be okay today, may not be okay tomorrow, and I think that's how you're looking at it. Like, all right, right now it's not really a big deal. It seems like it's fine. People just want to get along. Seems good. But when does it get too much? When does it kind of build up too much energy behind it, and then at some point it just bursts forward because it wasn't dealt with like it should have been? And you're helping this person who likes you figure this out. Like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe there's something that's waiting to be a problem here. Now, this is interesting because the star card is covering the Three of Swords. And the question is, I really think the question is, when do we have to deal with the Three of Swords? The star card usually talks of Aquarius too, which is a very compatible energy with you. And it's kind of like, all right, it's hidden though. This is how it's coming into the reading. Like it's hidden back there. Nothing is happening in 5 seconds. But I feel like you're bringing this information back and you're talking with whoever wants to know and you're saying, hey, here's what I found. This is going well right now. It's not a big problem right now, but I feel like the longer it goes, sooner or later, this is going to have to be dealt with. So you're showing this up. You're like saying, here's what I found. Here, we got to deal with this. 7 of Cups comes in. Whoever you're talking to about this, they don't know what to do with it. And I feel like they're looking at it kind of like, well, can't we just keep going like we've been going? Although you're also kind of probably going to remind them like they knew something was wrong and they needed you to help them find it, and you found it. You might have to remind them like that inkling is saying, either you choose when it comes forward or it'll choose on its own. And I feel like you might have to remind this person of that. This isn't like a possibility, it's a time thing. And for some reason, you're getting the option to say, I can either go towards it on my terms and deal with it on my terms and make it happen and make something happen with this and deal with it in a more controlled manner, or I can wait for it to explode and just kind of like whatever happens, just deal with the shrapnel. Because that's kind of how it feels. It's like, there's a problem, it's kind of building pressure. You can either go in there and start dealing with the pressure and undoing it and trying to get it to release so it doesn't have to be that violent. Or you can let it build and 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 build, and there you're subject to what you're left with. It will hit a point, and I feel like you might have to also explain this to this person as well. It will hit a point where there will be a point of no return. Like it'll hit this point where you could try to go towards it and deal with it, but it might have too much pressure and just blow up because it's too late. You know what I mean? It's going to blow up either way. The current situation feels like it can be diffused, and it might be able to be pulled down a little bit before it even gets to that level. I feel like you're having to do a lot of negotiations with the person you like at this point. You got energy coming in. I feel like you're taking the situation very seriously, and you keep explaining it to this person. Like, if you wait too long, the option's going to be out of your hands, and it's definitely going to explode. If you do it within whatever time frame you think is correct, if you do it within a couple weeks, a couple months, you should be able to start diffusing it where it probably won't be that bad. What is that purple card? No, it's blue. Good cheer is at the bottom. This is what you're helping with. Organization, very, very bad. You got to help them organize what they know. And the moon card, how will it? This is why they don't really want to deal with it. They're kind of like, well, who knows? Like, maybe it'll be all right on its own. And I feel like you're looking at this like, no, that's not what the moon card is saying. The moon card is saying it's a random. It's like it's kind of like potluck when it comes forward. It's kind of like the turn of the wheel here. The wheel of fortune will show up. It's just when it's gonna go off. You got to help them figure out and organize the situation. I feel like you can help them find ways to start pulling some of the stress out of the situation without heading towards it full on. Kind of like easing the tensions between people without causing a direct conversation of the problem. Not just yet. It may not be just time for that yet. And I feel like you might have to kind of bring or foster that energy. Kind of like, let's try to see if we can get these people working more compatibly in a true sense. If they can understand each other a little bit better, maybe we could, calm the energy between them a little bit, and then when it's calm enough, we can bring forward these points of contention and maybe deal with it that way. You're giving them ideas about how to deal with this, where it doesn't have to be a big boom, it doesn't have to be a big disaster, but you can start working on it and start like, let's see if we can just make this more to where they can start seeing each other's good attributes. And if we can get them to understand that they both have good attributes and accept that they both have good attributes, if we can get that far, maybe we can start bringing in these points of contention and start defusing that. Otherwise, if we ignore it, and I feel like there's going to be many times, I feel like you're going to have to constantly remind this person. If we just ignore it, it will just build and build and build and build until boom. So we need to deal with it before boom. And I think we're there. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.